stretch to think of who the opponent was, a team that recently won the entire competition of Europe's greatest Champions League. But for Napoli, it was the individual performances, the pressing off the ball. Obviously, everyone lauding Khvicha Kvaratskhelia, the player of the month in August in Serie A, and rightfully so, with his electrifying involvement, both with his assists, his dribbling, his goal scoring. There is so much hype right now at the Maradona Stadium, and for good reason.
And Alberto Santoro is the head official. They're convening with both captains. Giovanni Di Lorenzo wears the armband for Napoli. And Manuel Giazzi, captains visiting Spezia. Spezia side that made a brilliant start to the season, winning the home and season opener against Empoli. But since then, 4 games without a victory, and this a difficult place to go looking for win number 2. Wonderful operatic high notes ringing around the now Stadio Maradona. The league's best attacking side, the second best defensive club in Serie A. To Napoli, that 3 decades later is once again among the favorites. And there is the man of the hour, the Georgian winger, Kvaratskhelia. How good do you have to be for that name to become a household name, and perfect pronunciations around Europe following his display against Liverpool? It will be Spezia to kick off, moving from right to left on your screen. Giacomo Raspadori, who's chosen to lead the line in the absence of the injured Victor Osimhen. In total, 5 changes made by Luciano Spalletti from the side that beat Liverpool 4-1 just 3 days back. The ball rolls in Naples. Serie A's match day 6. It's Napoli in their classic sky blues taking on Spezia in the alternative all black. Alongside Matteo Bonetti, I'm Dre Cordero. A pleasure to be with you for Serie A on CBS Sports and Paramount Plus. There's 2 changes in the back line, with Juan Jesus and Mario Rui stepping into the back 4 in relief of Kim Min-jae and Matias Oliveira, who both started against Liverpool. Lobotka and Zielinski get a break, meaning Ndombele and Elif Elmas get the nod in a 4-3-3, and of course Raspadori, as mentioned, leads the line for this man, Luciano Spalletti.
And on the other side, Luca Gotti, the Spezia manager, talked about limiting chances for Napoli, especially after what they did in midweek. So I'd expect a typical Gotti setup, playing on the counter, playing a low block, and just trying to limit the space in between the lines, where Napoli did so much damage, especially with those 1-2s. Think back to that wonderful combination, Peter Zielinski having one of his better performances, Zambo Anguissa as well, and those two being able to get forward with Lobotka sitting. It's a bit of a change in the midfield today, though. Obviously, you need that rotation with so many games.
Some concern here early on for Arkadiusz Redza, the Polish left back. Started all 6 of Spezia's games in Serie A this season. There's only 2 changes made by Luca Gotti from the side that drew 2-2 with Bologna, a draw that led to the firing of Sinisa Mihajlovic. Krzysztof and Kovalenko are replaced in the 11 by the Spezia debut of Ethan Ampadu and the Colombian Kevin Agudelo. Here's Di Lorenzo. Politano, left it a little flat, still squeezes through. They are ravenous when they do lose possession, Napoli. Best possession figures in Serie A. Kvaratskhelia lifting it.
Great ball.
6. It was intended for Anguissa.
And how about the quality depth of Napoli, that despite losing Victor Osimhen for a month, more of a precautionary move, they have 2 replacements, one in Cholito Simeone, who also scored against Liverpool, and the other one in the youngster Raspadori. Both obviously can play that number 9 role. Raspadori, a bit of a different player. He's more versatile. He can play behind the striker, but a good chance for him to lead the line here. He's a very shifty, technical player.
Instinctive switch from Kvara. Politano isolated near side. Finds help in the form of Di Lorenzo. Mani, line splitting pass to find Zamboanguisa. He was sensational against Liverpool at midweek. Anguissa, most touches of any player on either team, really conducting in the midfield. It's hard to find a Napoli player that isn't showered with superlatives following that performance.
Yeah, and really credit the scouting network of Napoli. It's easy for any team to go out and say, all right, we'll get Haaland, we'll get Mbappe, the finished product will do well in any league. But what Napoli have done in finding these gems.
There's home, a burst of acceleration. And it's Elmas just getting in his way.
And just to go into that, Anguissa didn't exactly shine at Fulham. Napoli get him on the cheap. Kvaratskhelia played in the Georgian league with Dinamo Batumi last season. Only 10 million euros for a player that has absolutely dominated so far. And this goes across the board. Kim Min-jae as the replacement for Koulibaly. The summer transfer window so far is looking brilliant.
Matias Oliveira brought in to give Mario Rui some competition at left back as well. It's a low-driven cross sent away by Kvara. Urabia is fundamental to the way that Spezia plays, the conductor in the midfield, often helping them recover possession as he's done there. It's knocked down by Nzola. Giazzi, the captain. Zola. Reza. Ampadu. And Kvara applying the pressure. It'll be Kivior to get there first.
And with Spezia missing Verde, who's their primary playmaker, a lot of that will have to fall to Agudelo, one of the three midfielders, but by far the most offensive of the bunch.
It's a handful of absentees for Spezia, doing without Kelvin Amian, Salva Ferrer, Alban Ekdal's got plenty of experience. Daniele Verde, who you mentioned, is sidelined with an adductor injury. Also, Daniel Maldini, who's on loan from Milan. Rahmani. Long switch for Kvara. Settles it in stride.
Oh, brilliant.
Beyond the challenge of Ampadu. Still Kvara looking for an opening, and he's going to finish it all by himself. It's Elmas who gets in his way.
So good, Andres. Every time he's on the ball, you just hold your breath. And it's also some of the strength that we see. He's a taller winger. He's about 6 feet tall. And you can see that he's got the balance as well for his size. The way that he's just able to go through a challenge sometimes. You saw it happen midweek. I think the challenge as well with Liverpool center back Joe Gomez, where he just out-muscled him and played the assist for Cholito Simeone. But even then, it's not really that flamboyant. His dribbling, it just gets to the point. It's usually chops to either side. It's so simple and effective, and that quick burst of acceleration.
4 goals and an assist already in his young Serie A career. If he scores today, he'll be the second fastest Napoli player to reach 5 goals following Edinson Cavani. Scored 5 and 5 during the 2010-2011 season.
Yeah, welcome back to Serie A, Ethan Ampadu. And then gets by home. He's always looking for an angle on his right foot. What makes him hard to defend is what we've seen so far in Serie A. He's equally as comfortable on his left, so the defender never really knows, do I show him outside or inside, because he can hurt you either way.
Tanguy Nobel, João Jesus. Season debut for the Brazilian João Jesus, who's giving Min-jae some rest. And why not go straight back to Kvara. Elmas, look away pass. Raspadori didn't have his balance about him. It was ambitious from outside the area. More of a second striker than an out-and-out number 9. Jack Raspadori scored a brace for Sassuolo the last time that he faced Spezia back in May. It was a 2-2 draw, and he did all the scoring for Sassuolo in that match.
Yeah, and Raspadori, the best version we've seen of him is the one that was hovering around Gianluca Scamacca last season at Sassuolo. I think he still needs that bigger guy to hold up play. That's not his game, back to goal, but when he does get the ball in space, he's very shifty and creative and finding angles to pull off his shot.
Just listen to the Stadio Maradona. Elmas. Politano, the overlap from Di Lorenzo. Do have a tendency to monopolize possession, Napoli. Spezia chasing. Lovely ball settled neatly by Raspadori on his right. Just took a little deflection, taking all the sting and direction off it.
It seemed like Raspadori didn't want to take that on his left. He had found the angle, but then he cuts it back inside to get it on his favored right foot.
He is ambipedal, but opted not to go for a left-footed strike. Urabia. And he's bailed out by the whistle. Had nowhere to go. And he draws the foul, and Spezia have a free kick and a chance to breathe.
Interesting player as well in Ndombele. Which version will we get of him? We covered a lot of this player when we were doing Ligue 1 matches. He was so good at Lyon. That's what prompted Tottenham to make him a big money signing, but just wasn't able to really show consistency. Some questions about his work rate, his fitness. But will we get him motivated in Ndombele now that he's come down to the south of Italy? That's the big question.
2019, he won Champions League and Ligue 1 Best 11 honors. The ball is flighted in back post. It's a good delivery for Zola. And it leads to a corner, the first of the match for Spezia. Zola scored from the spot here. Spezia's 2-1 win in January of 2021. The visitors actually have a 100% record in Serie A. The two previous visits to the Maradona, they won both. Di Lorenzo, who's slow to get up. 10 minutes gone in Naples. Wasted set-piece opportunity for Spezia. They will have a throw. They won their season opener, as mentioned, against Empoli, a goal to nil. Since then, they picked up just 2 of a possible 12 points. And a couple of away losses to Inter and Juve. A couple of home draws against Sassuolo and Bologna. It's been a high degree of difficulty to the start of the season. Already facing the likes of Inter, Juve, and now Napoli. And it's only match day 6. It's a wonderful throw to the heart of the box. And the less said about that effort from Bastoni, the better. He is their attacking engine. Simone Bastoni. A couple of goals and assists, team high, 10 chances created. Had the assist in that win over Empoli. Scored goals in both the home draws against Sassuolo and Bologna. There is a likely Spezia goal scorer, it's him. Former Italy Youth International as well, Bastoni, now 25 years old. Local kid as well, he's from La Spezia. Living the dream in Serie A. Short options. Stradowski, who will raffle it into the middle. Down neatly and done well to win possession here. Spezia. Rezza. Aggressive from Ndombele, and the referee saw nothing wrong with it. Still in Ndombele, and how's the whistle? The foul's called against Bastoni.
And that's Ndombele at his best, winning back balls, but his dribbling as well. Both him and Anguissa getting forward. There isn't really a natural replacement for Lobotka, someone who just sits in front of the defense and acts as that deep line playmaker.
How good has Lobotka been at the start of this season, just orchestrating in the midfield for Napoli, getting a much-deserved break in this match, heavily rotated. 5 changes again for Napoli.
I think it's fair to call him the Slovak Marco Verratti.
Politano bamboozles his marker Rezza and gets clipped on the way through.
Also, one of the choices for Spalletti was whether to play Lozano or Politano midweek, and he went with Politano. Lozano hasn't really gotten going on this right wing. I still think it's not his best position. When he was scoring and assisting in the Dutch league, it was usually as a left-sided winger cutting in. But as a right winger, it kind of changes the whole dynamic of his game. He's more of a crosser, playmaker, which was never really his forte.
So what did you make of Spalletti's decision to start Raspadori instead of Cholito Simeone, fresh off of his Champions League goal?
There's no real wrong answer. Yes, Simeone came off his best season, 17 goals with Hellas Verona, but Raspadori is one of the best young Italian attackers. You got to give them all some minutes. Raspadori, one of the players that's looking to fight for a starting role permanently. It's a good problem to have.
And it's given away to Zambo and Giza. Squared across Di Lorenzo. Kvara! Oh. It's denied by Dragowski. And an important intervention by Holm.
Oh, Kvara did well to just slice through that ball. He gets that effect where it's curling inside. It was headed for the bottom corner, but forces a good save from Dragowski. Oh, it's really poor clearance there, and Anguissa's able to pickpocket far too easily. And that's good technique. That was headed for the bottom corner.
Quarter of an hour in. As you might expect, Kvara's been the most threatening of the 22 players on the pitch. It's knocked down by Juan Jesus. And Kvara's knocked down himself. Free kick Napoli. Impressed both abroad and domestically. Napoli, they're just coming off of that 2-1 win over Lazio, a come-from-behind victory in Rome. It stretched their unbeaten start to 9 games going back to last season. Last defeat was away to Empoli in April when they were up 2-0 and gave up 3 unanswered goals in the final 10 minutes of that match.
Could hear the audible gasp when Kvara was knocked over. He's not far away from becoming a Georgian UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Just a walking World Heritage Site. Since that defeat to Empoli, 7 wins and a couple of draws for Napoli. Bacchio from Zambo and Giza, Politano in a battle with Renza. And he'll get a corner kick out of it.
And Zambo, he's really raised his game, hasn't he? How about that bit of skill? Still think he should have gone with just Zambo on the back of the kit.
Well, he's got plenty of names to choose from. Frank-Andre Zambo and Giza.
Should do a poll. Which one's your favorite? I vote for Zambo.
And swinger near post. And finally, a good delivery. It's intended for Di Lorenzo. Got the most set-piece goals of any team in Serie A. Napoli, 4, and all 4 from corner kicks. It's his 9th season in Serie A for Mario Rui, his 6th with Napoli. He was brought over by Maurizio Sarri, who had him at Empoli. Excuse me, at Roma. Di Lorenzo. There's quite a few of Sarri's Empoli players that were brought over to Napoli. Zielinski, Mario Rui.
Hysaj, Valdifiori. Valdifiori being the one that really did not work. The Pirlo of the Provincia, Provincial Pirlo, they used to call him.
Had an absolutely sensational season when Napoli made it back into the top flight. Dealt with by Kivior. Fouls whistled against the Spezia captain Giazzi. The international just catching Ramadi.
Spezia are doing a pretty good job just settling into that low block when they know Napoli's going to hold on to a big stretch of possession. Some of the quality on the bench, Oliveira, Cholito, who had that great moment after scoring, kissed his tattoo, which somehow he was able to get at 13 years old. I'm not sure who was the person who gave it to him, but maybe should be investigated.
Himself, to be honest.
Always wanted to play and score in the Champions League, and he did so against Liverpool.
Smartly knocking it back to Lewandowski. An experienced goalkeeper coming off of his 100th Serie A appearance last week, that 2-2 draw against Bologna. Looks a little shaken up here. It's the ones that don't come from any contact that we have to worry about the most. Seems to be favoring that left quad. Might Spezia have to change their goalkeeper. Jeroen Zoet, the Dutch 31-year-old, is on the bench, and for all the experience that Lewandowski has, only 14 career Serie A matches for his backup, the ex-PSV man. The third goalkeeper is a 20-year-old Bosnian, Peter Zovko. Gotti. It's yet to win in 5 previous matches against Napoli. Drew the very first meeting. He was at the helm of Udinese, and since then 4 straight losses. Luciano Spalletti, who needs no introduction. 2-time Serie A Coach of the Year. Can he finally lead Napoli to the promised land? It's been 33 years since certain Diego Maradona, it's a statue in the tunnel and stadium named after him, led Napoli to their last Scudetto.
What about how different the narrative has been for Spalletti ever since he had that interview a month ago where he's trying to calm down the fans, telling them that everything's going to be okay, that it's a process.
He was being yelled at by a section of Napoli fans who were not happy with how things had gone. They'd seen 4 big locker room presences leave in the summer transfer window, and a handful of names they could hardly pronounce step in to replace them. Juan Jesus. It's a clever ball for Kvara.
I mean, Kvara hasn't just replaced Lorenzo Insigne. He has been a net improvement over the last 18 months of Insigne. It only took him 2 weeks to match all the goals from Insigne in open play.
Here they come once more, Napoli. It's Elmas. Perhaps one touch too many. And Raspadori getting in each other's way. It's a heavy touch by Rezza, who was challenged by Di Lorenzo. And Giza instinctively finds Ndombele. Mario Rui. Kvara. Lovely ball for... And Giza stings the balls of Dragowski.
So smart, sees that everyone inside the box is well marked, just pulls it back, looking for that run at the edge of the box, and all Anguissa has to do here is side-footed. Takes the pace off the ball. It is central. Great work from Elmas, though. It was really his run down the middle that started off this entire attack for Napoli.
If memory serves me, wasn't that eerily similar to Anguissa's goal against Liverpool? That pull back to the edge of the 18. He's got the second most touches in Serie A this season, Anguissa, behind third most, behind one of his teammates, Minje, and Bremer. He's the only one in the top 5 that isn't a central defender.
And with Anguissa, Zielinski, Labarca playing so well, you hardly remember Napoli's best midfielder who left, Fabio Ruiz.
Kvara. And the crowd on their feet. Still Cavada.
Oh,
Cavada!
Kidding me.
And Dragowski denies us a world-class goal.
I mean, just think of a young fan. If you're maybe a 13-year-old Napoli fan watching on, this is the kind of player that really gets you excited about football. Every time he touches the ball, it's just pure enjoyment. Just a mazy dribbling. Never know if he's going to go right foot or left foot. We've seen him score it with his left foot, drilling it across goal. We've seen him finish with his right, curling it past the keeper.
Raspadori. Elmas did really well to get past his marker. Elliot Elmas looking for an opening at the near post. Deflection will take it wide. And Dragowski is down once more. Was it just out of frustration? Look at this touch.
And he's a very technical player. He's got quick feet. Elliot Elmas.
Versatility as well. He's played as a trequartista. He's played as a central midfielder.
Out wide as well.
It's Raspadori to deliver. And the corner comes in flat. Mario Rui catapulted into the area for Raspadori, settled neatly. Aggies. It's a crowded 18.
Oh, Cavada wanted it. He was all alone outside the box.
Posted by Di Lorenzo, back post and overcooked for Elmas. Those are two Spezia players, neither of them collided just inside the 6-yard box, and it was Kivio who took the worst of it. Accolades and the wonderful career that Luciano Spalletti has had, it's not exactly lined with trophies. His best silverware to date was a pair of Coppa Italia back in 07 and 08, back-to-back with Roma.
Just to go back to your point about Raspadori and Simeone asking why one was chosen over the other, I would assume it's because you know Spezia is going to play a low block, don't have that room to run in behind.
Di Lorenzo arriving in the 18.
So when there isn't much room to operate in, a player with Raspadori's characteristics should work better given how shifty he is. He's not the quickest in a straight line. He's not going to be like Simeone or Seaman, who are good when the game is stretched and they can make the run past the shoulder of the last defender. You're just not going to have that space in this game.
João Jesus. Giazzi. Did well to hold on to possession, but only for a moment, Giazzi. Instantly Napoli have it back. We've camped out in Spezia's half for much of the opening 27 minutes. Lifted instinctively toward Elliot Elmas. Cavada curled toward the back post. Had both Politano and Raspadori waiting. Was overhit by the Georgian.
You're seeing Cavada and Elmas really flip-flopping positions. Elmas is making some runs down the left-hand side. That's going to be such a tough test for the defenders. Ampadu, Kivior on that side of the Spezia backline. Cavada just overhits it. 2 runs at the back post. Just too much height on the ball.
Dragowski is once again limping, and so it's Kivior who takes the goal kicks. Zola. Gets it back from Agudelo. Kivior. Nicolau. Completa's pass intercepted by Anguissa. This is Politano in a crowd of Spezia defenders, and he's tripped up from behind. It's Nicolau, the guilty party. It's a big casual from Napoli, and numbers pouring forward for Spezia. Giazzi has runners at the back post. Had to do it all by himself, the striker Nzola. Jorge Jesus livid with the giveaway. Wasted opportunity was a 3v2 on that far side. Napoli were caught out. Spezia could not capitalize. Away by Raspadori. Beyond the reach of Politano Rezza. Spezia will reset possession. He would do well to press the goalkeeper, who is once again playing hurt. Burabia. A French-born Moroccan international, Bourabi, 8 caps for Morocco's national team. This is Giazzi. Agudelo. Ampadu. And he spotted the run of Nzola, but Anguissa did too, jumping into the passing lane. Politano. Always difficult early in the season with this many changes in the 11 to find that chemistry. Napoli have had the lion's share of the possession and the chances. Zrinkovski's kept out some of their better opportunities. Politano. Mario Rui into stride for Cavani. He's got options inside. He tried to square it in. It was deflected out.
See what Cavani was telling Raspadori, wanted the striker to continue the run at the near post. Raspadori just halted it.
So a good example of what I'm referencing with the changes in the early season. Raspadori is making just his second Napoli start. He and Cavani still have some chemistry to develop. Mario Rui, it was a good idea, looking for Cavani. Not really anticipated by the Georgian. Spalletti with that flabbergasted look. Spezia weathered the early storm. Not the Maradona, just over 30 minutes played.
This is exactly what Galti talked about midweek when he was asked, how do you stop this? After what you saw Napoli do to Liverpool, they could have scored 6 goals. And he said, listen, we're going to try our best to limit the opportunities. We're not going to take too many chances. It's maybe not the most exciting from the Spezia point of view, but it has been effective. They haven't had that many chances really to test Dragowski.
It was 2-0 against Liverpool at this stage of the game.
And it should have been 4. Missed penalty, clearance off the line, Osimhen off the post.
That has been an issue for Napoli this season. They've missed a league-high 12 big chances. So for all the goals they have scored, 12 of them, plenty have been let off the hook.
Just to think, against Liverpool, they had 9 clear-cut chances.
So often the press of Napoli forcing Spezia to raffle 50-50 balls into the heart of the pitch. It's just Raspadori settled neatly. Good ball for Elmas. Struggled to control. Kvara now leads an opening. It's deflected by Kivior.
Slick play here from Raspadori, turning the corner, keeps the play alive. Also that combination between Elmas and Kvara, it's getting better and better. How about that ball though from Di Lorenzo? Raspadori's onside. But right here, look at the way that he just turns the angle so quickly, finds a perfect square ball there for Elmas. And that was headed to the back post had it not taken a deflection. Huge deflection by the Polish defender Kivior.
He's got a hair trigger, doesn't he? He's able to release so quickly.
And just find that yard of space so easily.
To the heart of the area, Rahmani beats it. Could not get his header down. Almost taken for granted now. Amir Rahmani. In part because he had Koulibaly next to him for much of his time, all of his time in Napoli up until now. But displaced Manolas. It's become a rock at the back for Partenope. It's a Napoli throw and Mario Rui to put it back in play. Goes to ground, is fouled and wins a free kick for Napoli. It's interesting that this is the game in which João Jesus makes his season debut for Napoli. And it was his own goal the last time that Spezia visited that proved to be the difference, a 1-0 Spezia win. Just over 10 minutes to play in the first half. Rui was slow to make up his mind. Jesus. Rahmani is closed down by Giazzi. It's knocked down nicely. And it's Kvara who's in behind. Just cut out by Kivior. The offside flag comes up against Kvaratskhelia.
Kivior already looks exhausted. He's had Elmas and Kvara running at him. Such a tough test for his back line, which is pretty inexperienced at the highest level. I think it was a good move from Spezia to bring back Ampadu, who had a full season with Venezia before getting relegated.
It's knocked down by Mario Rui. It'll be a throw for Spezia in Napoli territory. Last Napoli possession, perhaps a hint that for the final 10 minutes of the first half, Gotti's given instructions to press Napoli out of the back. Ball did cross the line. How difficult must it be to change the chip after hearing the Champions League anthem sound out at the stadium, having Liverpool come in, the European opener for both clubs, and then back to the business of domestic football, where Napoli very much among the title contenders. And Spezia very much not.
Yeah, and it hasn't been perfect domestically for Napoli. They started off first two games sensational, but then they only picked up 2 points away to Fiorentina, where they were pretty mediocre, and then that point against Lecce, and these are the ones that at the end of the season will change European spots. It could change titles.
Politano. Di Lorenzo squared back, looking for Raspadori. Zola in a foot race with João Jesus, the Brazilian using his body well.
He did well, João Jesus, because you're right, he had to use his body, and Zola clearly had a big advantage in the pace department. And João Jesus just did his best to legally keeping Zola behind him.
What a turn by Raspadori. It's closed down by Buravia. Brazilian flair from Jesus. Spezia have yet to register a shot on target. Alex Meret had not been named until that moment. Agudelo. So deep ball forward for Zola, was all by himself.
That's going to be difficult for Zola to attack if he's left alone on an island.
Lorenzo. It's kept in play by Politano. Find each other so well, Napoli, even with all of the changes. It's a team that plays from memory, that moves the ball to move the opposition. Is perhaps too long for Kvara. Now fixed, exasperated expression on Luciano Spalletti's face. Zola fighting for possession. It's taken back by Napoli. Here's Ndombele weaving his way forward. Tanguy Ndombele. And he had better options. Chiazzi back the other way for Spezia. Can they draw first blood? It's Chiazzi on his right, given space! And he stings the gloves of Alex Meret. First intervention from the Napoli goalkeeper.
Run off to Chiazzi's left, which just moved that Napoli back line. That's clever from Bastoni, just to open up that space for Chiazzi to cut in on his right. And he just drills it to the near post. It's not the most difficult save for Meret, but just to make sure that he's still there. Mentally, at least. Meret, as you said, he hadn't been called into action once in 39 minutes.
Inside of 5 to play before halftime. Bastoni to deliver. Lifted in toward the penalty spot. Juan Jesus was there. Recovered cleverly by Agudelo. Again, it's Juan Jesus. Spezia suddenly on the front foot in the final stages of the opening half. Chiazzi, Bastoni comes into the box and just wreaking havoc. It was Meret there to clean it up. So much talk of a potential arrival of Keylor Navas over the summer transfer window that extended well into the start of the season. Meret breathing a sigh of relief once the window closed.
Yeah, and Meret deserved a lot of credit as well, making good saves in the biggest game of his life against Liverpool. Lost the spot to Ospina in the past. Colombian goalkeeper moved on in the summer.
Ricochets out to Mario Rui. Is this where Napoli find the breakthrough? Kvara against Holm. And expertly done by the Swedish defender.
Yeah, that's what Kvara does. He won't give up on a play. He overhits it there. Holm read it beautifully, used his body well.
Stanislav Lobotka likely to play a part in the second half. Well, a good indication that Dragowski is feeling better. He'll take the goal kicks himself. by João Jesus. Zambo Anguissa. Politano as Anguissa continues his run. Contained by Nicolau. Finding a little more success in transition now, Spezia. Agudelo. João Jesus has had himself a redeeming first half. Anguissa. Di Lorenzo. Sprayed wide by Mario Rui. Here's Cavani. Forcing his way past home. He was fouled, but play allowed to continue. Did well to find Politano. And to curl that one into the back post, and then plenty of bodies in the way. Now it's Nobele. Jazzy goes to ground. That'll be a foul and a yellow card for the Spezia captain.
Well, first of all, great show of balance once again from Cavani. Gets knocked around, stays on his feet, and most importantly, keeps the play alive. And then for Napoli fans who haven't seen much of Ndombele in the past, and you want him to play that extra pass, well, just take a look at some of the goals that he used to score in France. He absolutely has that in his locker, that long-distance, stunning goal.
This is a very good set-piece opportunity for the team with the most set-piece goals in Serie A this season. Napoli dropped points against Fiorentina at the Artemio Franchi. Dropped points at this stadium against Lecce. For the moment, only for the moment, Spezia holding their own. Just one on the wall, and it's the 5'10" Kevin Agudelo. Gasparoni. Well, it was mishit by Di Lorenzo. That's not how they've drawn it up. Agudelo spinning himself into a vortex, and he's giving it away in a dangerous spot. Politano. Rachmani. That's why he wears the 13 and not the 9.
Yeah, out of all the players that could have taken that shot for Napoli, you probably had Rachmani just in front of Meret in terms of who you least want to see take it.
Does have 5 Serie A goals in his career, but they're typically with a different appendage.
Exactly.
Zola. 2 minutes added on. We'll play until at least the end of the 47th. And that'll do for the opening 45 minutes. Napoli started with a frenetic pace. Cavani putting on his show, had the crowd on their feet. Dragowski contained the Scudetto contenders, and at the break, no breakthrough yet. Napoli 0, Spezia 0.
Any changes at the break, though? It's time to get you over to your commentators for the second half, Adri Cordero and Matteo Bonetti. Enjoy.
Thank you, Poppy. And Matteo, Spalletti said after that win over Liverpool that tonight everyone was watching Liverpool, watching Napoli. They were listening to the sound of the cleats on the hard surface on the way to the pitch, every small detail. But so often it's in league play, how you do against the lower half of the table that determines at the end of a tight Scudetto race who's going to claim that title. This is one of those games that a would-be champion must win. It's level at the start of the second half.
Very well said, Andres, and you're right. How do you mimic the sort of intensity on an incredible European night against a team like Liverpool? Wow, what about those shades? My goodness, sorry, that ruined my train of thought. Good to see Lobotka, and this is one of the start, right? Get some more balance in the midfield, someone who can really hold on to possession. We know how good Lobotka's been, sitting in front of that defense, organizing play. And just some of those regulars in. Obviously, there was going to be plenty of rotation in this game with Champions League upcoming next week as well. But Spezia are one of those teams that you see so many of in the provincial half of the league, where they can sit back, they can go with a back five, they're organized defensively. There's a reason why players come from other big European leagues and say how difficult it is to score in Italy. I mean, a lot of these teams are well drilled, even teams with very small budgets, and they know how to defend.
So second half underway at the Stadio Maradona. It's Napoli in possession, moving from right to left on your monitor. One change made by Luciano Spalletti as Stanislav Lobotka checks in relief of Tanguy Ndombele. Lobotka, a big part of the reason why Napoli are the second best possession side in Serie A. Here's Elmas. Guevara in the first touches for the Slovakian Lobotka. So difficult to dispossess.
Yeah.
So, lovely leading ball. Elmas back to
beautiful!
And Ngiza denied by Drangowski, who with a limp and all has been sensational in goal to keep this at 0-0.
Oh, it's a kind of awareness from Raspadori that makes it seem like he's been with this team for years. Great link up between him and Elmas. The presence of mind to know that Anguissa was behind and had a better chance on goal.
Ramani, Raspadori. It's wonderful football from Napoli at the start of the second half. Raspadori continues his run. Politano trying to keep it alive.
Some of that Napoli link up in the final third is just intoxicating. It's so quick and sharp, and the movement off the ball.
Di Lorenzo. That's how stands his ground. It'll be a goal kick for Drangowski. Well, they started the second half in much the same way that they started the first. Electrifying football.
Even better when you see it in that replay. So dangerous too when the wingers cut inside for Napoli. You've got the striker with his back to goal, and you always know that you're going to have two of those midfielders. In this case, it's Elmas and Anguissa making the run forward, so you overload that final third with so many options that can score.
Rossi is again relinquishing the goal kicks. Came up limping early in that first half. There's Bastoni. Giazzi. Bastoni continues his run into the area. Picked up by Bastoni. Just to squeeze the cross in. It's deflected out by Di Lorenzo. Corner kick for Spezia. As Luca Gotti looks on. So longtime assistant Roberto Donadoni. Gotti at Cagliari, Parma, and Bologna. Also worked under Maurizio Sarri at Chelsea. Flighted in but flat at the near post, not quite cleared away. It's Politano. What a turn by Bastoni, but he turns into trouble.
Seemed like Bastoni might have gotten a bit dizzy from that spin. Went to ground on his own.
This is the team with the most shots in Serie A. Napoli against the team with the fewest, Spezia. And the match is on very much along that line. 14 Napoli shots to 3 for Spezia, just 1 on target for the visiting side. Long switch by Mario Rui for the arriving Lorenzo. Rather Politano. Here's the captain, Di Lorenzo. Tight defensive lines of Spezia trying to break through them. Where's Politano? Deflected out for a corner. The Stadio Maradona trying to do its part to lift Napoli toward an opening goal. They were the team that scored the most set-piece goals last season as well, Napoli, 26 in total. They'll lead that particular stats category this season. 4 corner kick goals. And out for Cavada, took it on the volley. The referee could stop Kvaratskhelia. But perhaps Giazzi can. Rezza. Agudelo. Looks good on the ball, doesn't he? The 23-year-old Colombian Kevin Agudelo, former Genoa, and briefly had his spell at Fiorentina, though he played only 3 Serie A games with the Viola.
Yeah, he's a good dribbler. I think the question with him is the end product. Once he does get forward and makes the right moves to create space, his end product has often been inconsistent.
Here's Agudelo, closed down by Lobotka. Cleaned up by Anguissa, and Napoli back in possession. Atalanta, the surprise leaders in Serie A after match day 5. Just keep adding to the list of potential contenders. Di Lorenzo squeezes the cross in. Raspadori tried to strike it as it came. Couldn't redirect on goal. Mario Rui might. One of the most difficult things to do in football is to break down a team that defends this deep, this tight, conceding very few spaces in their own 18. Politano with Rezza nipping at his heels. Strong from Arkadiusz Rezza. Here's Agudelo for Spezia. Waiting for reinforcements to arrive. Giazzi starting out wide. Bastoni. Bastoni not as involved in the attack during the first half as he normally is for Spezia. It was mostly Giazzi and Zola on the counter and often isolated. Stepping forward, he was imperial in the first half. Home. Mario Rui stands his ground. It'll be a throw for Spezia. It's being closed down by Almas. A little casual in the pass this time. It's Cavada back the other way. Who stops his progress. It's given as a throw for Napoli. Spezia's lone win of the season back in the home and season opener was by the slimmest of margin, just a 1-0. Lorenzo continues his run forward. He's had his progress stopped by Bastoni. Politano. Di Lorenzo. Anguissa. Really seems to be enjoying his football this season. Zambo Anguissa. It's been a monumental part in the Napoli midfield this early campaign. Rui. Raspadori not coming back toward the ball. And
Nice
possession,
move.
short circuit. Here's Agudelo.
That's what Spezia need more of, that drop of the shoulder from Agudelo, and he takes off just to be between him and Bastoni, those creative forces to drive this team forward and actually keep a bit of possession in Napoli's half.
Zola's harassed by Elmas. Zola.
Watch out.
Giazzi. Clear instructions to stay wide for Giazzi in this second half. Giazzi. Mani taking all this sting off the shot.
I think Giazzi, especially from that angle, would have been better off squaring that ball. He had options inside the box, but wanted to have his moment. Step overs, try to create room, but even if you do, that is such a narrow angle to beat Meret.
Mani, who has the most touches of any player on the pitch, 60. Di Lorenzo. Raspadori is in behind. And Dragowski off his line. Almost looks like he's running in shallow water. Dragowski, but he got there in time.
Could be a potential switch now. 30 minutes to go. Giolito Simeone. What a season he had at Hellas Verona. It wasn't just the number of goals. Yes, that was impressive, but it was the quality of the goals, Andres. So many stunners from outside the box. Incredible finishes. Put everything together finally.
Here comes Spezia with Agudelo pulling the strings, home to his right. Rui was waiting in the tall grass. Left out just in time.
It's nice defensive reading there from Mario Rui. Knew exactly where the passing lane was. Crucial interception inside his own box.
Napoli esce con il numero 21 Matteo Politano.
Well, Napoli will make a second substitution and then a third. It's Chucky Lozano, the Mexico international, who steps in relief of Matteo Politano.
99 Frank Anguissa.
And Frank Anguissa to be replaced by Peter Zielinski.
Lozano con il numero 20 Piotr Zielinski.
Zielinski scored 2, assisted 1 in a 4-1 win over Liverpool 3 days ago. Got a much-needed rest in the opening 55 minutes, and it's time to go to work.
And Andres, I think it's time we start talking about Zielinski as one of the better midfielders in the league. He's been so solid for such a long time, but when you look at his numbers...
Well, he didn't really go out on a limb there. He said one of the better midfielders in the league. I'll give you a second chance to maybe go a step further if you'd like.
Oh, wow, what are you implying?
I'm asking the question.
Yeah, he's up there.
Consistently brilliant, Peter Zielinski.
Well, I think Napoli fans would not see that as a hot take, but it's more about getting that sort of recognition outside of just the Napoli fan base.
There's 3 changes made by Spalletti. Zielinski, Lobotka, and Lozano brought on for Anguissa, Ndombele, and Politano. Spalletti has 2 more windows in which to make 2 more substitutions. Luca Gotti is yet to make his first alteration. In the second half, a little more possession for Spezia, a little more transition. Spezia second bottom in terms of aerial duels in Serie A, but they've won this one for the moment. Jesus denied. Chucky Lozano. Deflected shot goal bound. As we tick toward the hour mark, just over 30 minutes left of normal time. Napoli nil, Spezia nil. Releases Lobotka. Plenty of options to the inside. And Zielinski! Oh, seemingly his first touch of the game. And he tests the goalkeeper.
So good from Lobotka in setting that up. Quick feet, makes the right decision, tees it up for Zielinski, who catches it very sweetly. It was a decent save from Drangolski. Also credit the catalyst, Cavada, who had a back heel to release Lobotka into space.
Lifted in toward the penalty spot. It's headed away by Ampadu, but straight out to Australia. Mario Rui curled into the edge of the 6. And the header from Elif Elmas over the bar.
Oh, pinpoint cross here right into that danger zone outside the 6-yard box. Two options there to try to meet it. There's that work from Lobotka, and it was always swerving away from Drangolski, but still central enough where it wasn't really a true test of Drangolski's skills.
Benji reacting, more likely the reaction to Elmas's point-blank header. North Macedonian international knew he should have finished that. And Mario Rui is flagged for offside. Napoli, for all their possession and the flashes of brilliance, are letting Spezia hang around. It's chased down by Elmas. It's brilliant by Kivior. Stood his ground. Home. Muscles Mario Rui. Rui whistled for the foul. Only one yellow card handed out by Santoro so far. It was Manuel Giazzi. First change for Spezia as Luca Gotti calls on Kovalenko. He'll replace Bastoni.
Another player who's better going forward from the midfield role. Formerly of Atalanta, never got a chance there.
Kovalenko, a Ukrainian international, 32 caps for his home country. Zielinski. Jesus may have left his space for Spezia to exploit as the Brazilian scrambles back. It's Giazzi in possession. The back heel for the newly introduced Kovalenko, and it's Rahmani to cut it out. The deflection off of Kovalenko means it's a Napoli throw. He hasn't really put a foot wrong for much of this match, the Polish center back.
He's done really well. And he's had so many tests come his way, whether it's been on Raspadori or drifting out wide to cover Kvaratskhelia.
Worth noting inside of these final 30 minutes, first place is up for grabs, at least eventually. Ball from Raspadori, magnetized by the striker. Lozano looking for an angle. They get a second chance here. Lozano. Thought about the shot, thought better of it. Neat touch by Agudelo to get in behind, but Ramani, the long strider, giving chase.
Oh, wonderful technique.
Agudelo. Giazzi.
He's got a bit of magic in his boots, Agudelo. Technical dribbler, good in tight spaces.
Here's Renza.
On the other end, you see Lozano once again put into this right-wing role. I still think he's a bit stunted there, Andres. When you look back at where he got his most goals in the Dutch Eredivisie, it was always as a left winger.
What a nice splitting pass that is to find Zola. Closed down by Rahmani. First time effort by Hull is blocked by Mario Rui in Napoli. Looking to transition into attack. Lozano pulling the strings.
There's the difference with having Raspadori when the game's stretched. He's not a player that makes the same kinds of runs as Seaman. Seaman would have been right there through, demanding that ball over the top. Same with Cholito Simeone. But Raspadori always wants it played to his feet where he can come short.
Zielinski. Napoli average just under 20 shots per game in Serie A. Already taken 21. Only 5 of which have been on target. Most of those central Dragowski, but a couple that he did have to go down to 9. Zielinski. Ball through for Raspadori, delivered back post. It's the right idea. Lozano was there. But overhit. And might that have been the last touch of the game for Giacomo Raspadori?
And if the game's going to get more stretched, Simeone has more of the same characteristics of a Seaman in terms of the movement that he makes. He's not as quick as a Seaman, but he makes the same sort of runs. He is good on the counter-attack.
So it's Kvara who makes way. Simeone stays on, and as you mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Raspadori, more of a second striker who works well off of a more traditional number 9.
Yeah.
And we'll see that combination now.
Yeah, and this makes sense. Kvara obviously expended a lot of energy against Liverpool. He's got important Champions League games coming up, so you don't want to use any of those important players from Europe 90 minutes in Serie A, and you do have the depth now where you can change things around and see some of the versatility from Raspadori, who's going to move over to the left wing. He's going to play a little bit closer to Simeone. It might look like a 2 up front at times.
It is a frenetic Champions League group stage this time out, and plays 6 rounds in 9 weeks ahead of the international break for the World Cup in late November. Rotation will be crucial for the Scudetto contenders. One sub and 1 window still available for Spalletti. Zola is dispossessed. Rahmani in unfamiliar territory. He's looking for Simeone. Now 27 years old, Giovanni Simeone. Where has the time gone?
And you have to feel for him when you look over his career in Serie A. He's always been on teams that have been completely dysfunctional. He's had managers come and go. He never really had a team where it was a set identity, that they had continuity from one season to the next. So he's sort of bounced around, and still a pretty good goal-scoring record. It all came together under a good manager last season, Tudor's Hellas Verona. That's where he really shined with 17 goals.
Back heel by Giazzi. Renza lifted in toward the edge of the 6. Home and Agudelo seemingly in each other's way. And it'll be a goal kick for Menez. John Jesus slowing it up. Let's not retire him either, Matteo. He's 27 and now at Napoli, where he can still make a huge impact.
Yeah, and playing his best football, and now he's by far the best team that he's been on, with the most playmakers surrounding him.
Still technically a Verona player, though this loan does include an obligation to buy, meeting certain conditions at the end of the season.
Doppia sostituzione Spezia.
Spezia will make a double switch.
Con il numero 6 Bonavia. Sono entrati con il numero 15 Christoph e con il numero 28
and Aperu make way. Christoph will fill in on the back line. Ellertson also checking in. To play, and 2 big points up for grabs. Elmas commits the foul. Ellertson threatening to make an immediate impact.
Icelandic player, Ellertson, just gonna play on the left-hand side. He is a left-footed player, so a few crosses from that wide position expected.
They do rely heavily on the crosses, Spezia. They're one of the highest crossing teams in Serie A. Unfortunately, they connected on only 18 of their 84. So while it is a tool, it's not one they've used to great effect. But with barely a hair out of place in the 72nd minute. The left of Agudello, the right of home. Lifted in by Rezza. Meret, look out.
Oh my
It's
goodness!
Loose. And Ramadi just there in time to deny a catastrophic goal for Napoli. Agudello. Spezia continue to press. Nicolau.
Wow.
Rather Kivior, who strikes it wide. And they could have gone horrendously wrong.
Yeah, this is a Mario Rui back header. Obviously, doesn't want to put it in between goal, but he's giving Meret a lot to do. Meret has to rush out. Mario Rui playing with fire. Doesn't get nearly as much on that ball. Meret's coming out to desperately get a touch onto it, and Rahmani saves what would have been an absolute blunder of a goal to give up.
This is Lobotka skipping past the challenge of Agudello. Elmas.
And up until that point, I thought Mario Rui did well defensively. Got some really important interceptions.
Home sprints in behind. He's got help on the inside in Rizzola. Plenty of cover back as well as Rahmani cleans up. These are nervous moments for Napoli. And a nervous back pass from Raspadori. That's well dealt with by Alex Meret.
And again, a back pass that's in between the pipes. That's usually not a great idea. That's why you see back passes often to the side of one of the posts, and Meret with a very awkward chest down. He must be thinking, what's happening with my teammates?
Just another look at contact between Agudello and Lobotka. Lobotka. Zielinski wants a tightrope near post, and Rogowski there to man his post. Simeone was providing the threat.
Sostituzione Napoli, esce con il numero 7 Elmas.
So Elif Elmas is the last Napoli starter to
Entra
exit.
con il numero 70 Gianluca Gaetano.
And a season debut for the 22-year-old Gianluca Gaetano. Was making just his 5th career appearance in Serie A, all 5 off the bench.
Now he's a player that got good experience. He's an exciting young player. He was sent on loan to Cremonese, where he played 35 games in Serie B, helped them get promoted to Serie A, scored 7 times. And that was really the 3rd season, and Napoli just kept him on loan there at Cremonese. He's gotten good experience now, a lot of games under his belt in the lower leagues. The idea is he's ready to just be part of the rotation and relieve some of the first-team players.
Calcio is the family business in the Gaetano household. His older brother Felice is a central midfielder at their hometown club in the lower leagues. He's got 3 cousins who also play, including one who's in the Napoli under-18 side, a defensive midfielder named Luciano Peluso. And with a quarter of an hour to play, it's Gianluca Gaetano's potentially time to shine. In a match where, should they find the winning goal, Napoli will take over top spot provisionally. And look, the foul and has been whistled as such against that side.
For a lot of these Napoli players that come up through the youth system who are from the region, such a prideful moment to wear the kit of their hometown team. Gaetano from Civitive, which is about 20 kilometers outside of Napoli.
Lozano giving chase, he won't get to his heads up. The ball is shielded. Crowd felt that it might have ricocheted off of a Polish wingback. Given as a goal kick. Poppy talked about game management in the course of their halftime chat with Mike and Marco. Right now it's about game management for Spezia. This is a valuable point in a very difficult place to play.
Yeah, and at the end of the season, wherever Napoli finish, if they don't reach the expectations, or if they're so close to getting either a trophy or a European place, you look at games like this, you look at the Lecce game where they picked up 1 point, and if they were to pick up 1 point in this one, these are the ones that are talked about for the rest of the season. Remember when Napoli dropped 4 points total against Spezia and Lecce? I mean, Gotti must be feeling like a mastermind after what happened to Klopp's Liverpool.
Napoli had scored 4 against Liverpool at this stage of the match, and Spezia holding their own and refusing to be beaten.
Should be the first line on Gotti's resume now if he's able to get a point from this.
It would be just the 2nd time he takes a point from a head-to-head meeting with Napoli. A win and 4 defeats in the previous 5. It's rather a draw in 4 defeats. Lorenzo lifted in, a promising ball into the edge of the 6, and Lozano is denied by what has been a brilliant Kivior.
Yeah, Kivior has been sensational at the back. Doing what Virgil van Dijk couldn't. Never thought I'd say that.
Zielinski outswinger for the penalty spot, attacked by Rahmani. Giazzi with a chance to lead the counter. It's broken up by Lobotka. Pulled back Gaetano. Goal bound, and guess who?
Nice cracking shot there from the man who just came on, Gaetano. He is a goal scorer from the midfielder.
Once again, lifted in by Zielinski. Once more for Rahmani, still alive for Rahmani. Raspadori scuffs his shot. It'll be a goal kick. It's been a frustrating outing for Giacomo Raspadori.
It has been in terms of him going for goal. And there's a few times where the game was starting to get stretched where you could see that maybe a player who makes the run in behind the defenders would have been better suited, like Simeone, but now they're both on. Now Raspadori's in his best position, playing off of the main man. It's some decent link-up, though. I think when you let the ball roll, for example, Anguissa's shot. So some of the awareness you can see for a young player, he's well beyond his years. But obviously needs time to get comfortable and acclimated with a new system.
So it's a clever ball for Raspadori.
Oh, he's got to do better there.
There's another opportunity.
Tons of time. Maybe could have even taken one extra touch on the ball. He takes it first time, nowhere near the target. That's frustrating from Raspadori. Has to at least put it in between the pipes, give Dragowski something to think about.
One of the more experienced Serie A players on the Spezia side checking in, Jacopo Sala. 10 seasons in Serie A, is third with Spezia and it's Agudelo. He left us a few flashes of his Stardust football before exiting the match with 10 minutes to play. Sala's 154th Serie A appearance. Much like in the opening half, the final 10 minutes have seen Spezia advance their lines, putting a little bit more pressure on the Napoli defenders, attempting to play out of the back. They'll back off when Lobotka's on the ball. Simeone did well. Gaetano down the line for Lozano. A burst of acceleration is Chucky Lozano. Was pushed in the back by Rezza. And Raspadori's whistled to the foul.
Nice back-to-goal hold-up play from Simeone to continue that attack from Napoli.
Didn't see much wrong with that challenge.
I didn't either. That couldn't have been a foul on Raspadori, right?
And a little card in the hand of Alberto Santoro. Rezza will need some attention.
And this is the stage in the game where you'll see Spezia players staying down a little bit longer. Would be a golden point to take back to Liguria.
Dragowski playing his part as medic as he stretches out. So Spalletti was booked for his protest.
Now magically he's fine and walking off with no apparent issue.
They're in no real hurry to get the game back underway, and Dragowski now does. It's knocked down by Rahmani for Di Lorenzo. Mario Rui. Zielinski for Mario Rui. Crowded 18 once more. Rui. Lifted in over the top for Raspadori. Was in behind, goal bound, spilled by Dragowski, who parried it back into the box. She's out to Lobotka. Lifted once more back.
It's a good ball!
What a run that is by Lozano, who was caught offside.
On the earlier attack, Raspadori just played it right to Dragowski, didn't pull it back a bit. Here's a look at that one right there. He just pulled it back closer to Simeone, but it's right into the path of Dragowski. Not the best ball. Here's what is a great delivery, though. Lobotka turning, trying to find space, eyes on the back of his head, and he picks out Lozano to perfection. Remember, Lozano had a header in a similar position against Fiorentina. It was a Kvaratskhelia pass that Lozano really should have done better with. And that's another one that you can look at and say, well, heading, not really an attribute he's known for.
One of the real tactical puzzles in modern football, how to break down a parked bus, how to break through a team that has those tight lines defending as deep as Spezia are today. And so often the best weapon are those little diagonal lobs over the top of the defense. It's the tactic we saw Paris employ to great effect against Juventus in the Champions League. Lozano's volley harmlessly wide. Well, he gambled, Dragowski.
Beautiful in-swinger to the back post. Dragowski gets it all wrong. If a goalkeeper commits himself to getting out, he better get a touch onto it. Maybe Chucky Lozano surprised that it didn't take a deflection, but still, he has to do so much better than this. That's two golden opportunities in the last 2 minutes that Lozano squandered.
Here by Juan Jesus. Down by Simeone. Zielinski. Raspadori. Simeone's really giving them that reference point that was lacking when Raspadori was playing the number 9.
Yeah, despite not being the tallest striker, Simeone, he's very strong physically. He's got good balance and low center of gravity.
He is his father's son.
And he's in.
Jolito. Another corner for Napoli. This is the 10th corner kick of the match for the home side. Zielinski in swinger. Zielinski. Raspadori. It's Holm who dispossesses him. And it will be a Dragowski goal kick. And you can bet once more they won't be in a real rush to get things back underway.
While there have been some heroic defending from Spezia, especially from Kivior, the man in the center of it all, Napoli have been knocking on the door. They've had several better chances now in the second half, but so many times, just that final ball's really lacked quality, whether it's been Raspadori or Lozano.
That time it was the first ball that lacked quality from Dragowski.
And then tons of deflections and blocks from that Spezia defense. So many bodies to get through once you do find some room in the final third.
Possession predictably tilted Napoli's way, so too the chances. They've outshot Spezia 27-9.
Wow.
Long diagonal switch. Lozano dragged the cross. Gaetano misses. Raspadori! A redeeming goal for Giacomo Raspadori. With 90 seconds to play of the 90 minutes, he brings the Stadio Maradona to its feet. All game long, they knocked on the door, striking against the wall of Spezia defenders. With his first goal of the season, Raspadori's knocked it down, and surely now all 3 points to Napoli.
finally get a chance to hear those dulcet tones of Decibel Bellini. What a ball from Lobotka. He's the catalyst of this play. Another pinpoint ball from the midfield. Nice square. Good settle here from Lozano. Finds a bit of an angle, just squares it across the box. Raspadori has to come inside to get closer to it. And from that position, surely he wasn't going to miss. Dragowski was at the opposite side of his post. He had the entire goal to aim at with no one there. But again, who starts it off? Stanislav Lobotka. That passing from the midfield, unlocking the Spezia defense.
Well, he was on target twice the last time that he faced Spezia as a Sassuolo player back in May. That was worth a point to Sassuolo. This one is worth all three. And for the moment, top spot for Napoli. Luca Gotti could hardly believe it. 5 minutes added on will play until at least the end of the 95th.
Saranno 5 I minuti di recupero.
And the assist goes to Gianluca Gaetano, making his season debut. Has Gotti been sent off here? It's one of his assistants, Fabrizio Lorieri. And has Spalletti been given his marching orders?
Oh, what did we just miss here on the touchline?
Spalletti had been given a yellow earlier. He's given a red now. And so he will not be on the bench when Napoli take on Milan in San Siro on Sunday of next week.
What a game that's going to be.
The red card on the Spezia side is to the assistant coach Fabrizio Lorieri. He's an assistant to Eusebio Di Francesco, previously at Lecce, at Sassuolo, at Sampdoria. He worked under the likes of Giampaolo and Ranieri before landing on Luca Gotti's staff here at Spezia. Looks like an NFL snap from Spezia as they kick off. Special teams play from Gotti's men.
And I have to say, Spezia fought valiantly, given who they were coming up against, the kind of form that we saw from Napoli midweek. They defended valiantly. The performance from Kivior in particular really stood out. Agudelo had some good moments driving up the field. But I mean, when you have so much quality and depth that Napoli was able to bring on. As you mentioned, Gaetano with a part in the goal. Lobotka came on in the second half as well.
Will they come in search of his second? Raspadori flies too close to Dragowski. A foul whistled against Napoli, a free kick for Spezia, and suddenly these restarts will be a little quicker from the visiting side. Dragowski and Spezia will send as many men forward as they can afford. Overcooked again from Dragowski, who's playing injured, it must be said, but has really struggled with his distribution. Two minutes remain of the 5 added on. It's a good quality to have in a striker, is a short memory. Things were not going his way for much of the game in terms of his attempts on goal. But in the 89th minute, the would-be game winner by Jack Raspadori. Into a bit of trouble. Lorenzo take on a much more defensive posture on the final stretch of the game. Lobotka skips past the challenge of Ellertson. Giacomo. Rahmani. Lobotka. Gaetano presenting himself as an option. Who scrolls down very quickly. Seconds remain of the 5 added on. This may be the final chance for Spezia to find an equalizer to avoid a 5th consecutive game without a victory. And at the 6, it's collected by Alex Benet, who clatters into Gio Simeone.
This should be the last kick of the game now. Massive 3 points for Napoli, given everything that they really had to endure in this game. How many times have you seen Napoli maybe just pick up a point in games like this in the past? But I mean, the mentality that Spalletti has instilled in this team, the way that they showed so much character just a few days ago. Suddenly, it's crazy to think that Napoli were 25-1 underdogs to win the Scudetto.
Well, they were brilliant under the bright lights of the European stage 3 days ago. Dimmed somewhat by an industrious Spezia, but these are the games that a Scudetto contender has to win. And Napoli has done. In the process, they've taken over top spot provisionally. It's Napoli 1, Spezia 0 with Raspadori, the hero, the game winner in the 89th. We got plenty more Serie A today on Paramount Plus, including Inter taking on Torino, Milan's visit to Sampdoria. Feel free to join us. Hop over to Paramount Plus for our complete Calcio coverage, starting at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. Up next here on CBS Sports Network, we have Inside College Football, Armed Forces Special, presented by USAA. Matteo, a pleasure as always. For Matteo Bonetti, I'm Dre Cordero. Napoli get it done and climb the top spot. And that's all for us.